Hello, this is Mr. Knight. This is your Geometry Chapter 1.3, the use of midpoint and distance formulas. So let's go over some vocabulary real quick. Midpoint, if you remember, is given a segment, a line segment, so we call AB that line segment, and then we call M the midpoint, which tells you that line segment AM is congruent to line segment MB. Okay. So that's what midpoint's, just the middle, if you will, of a segment. And then we have what's called a segment bisector, which is a point, a line, or a ray, or another line segment or plane that intersects a segment at its midpoint. All right. So if M is my midpoint, a line, a plane, a ray, another line segment tells you that if we call that M, again, just as above, AM, line segment AM, is congruent to line segment DB. Okay, so that's what segment bisector is. So if you have a problem and you're reading through and it tells you that this segment is a bisector, then that tells you information about these two being congruent and their measures are equal. All right, so finding segment lengths. So if I look at this, I think it's a skateboard. They tell us that VW right here bisects XY. Therefore, I know that these two line segments are the same. If I know that XT, which is this distance right here, is 39.9, they want you to find XY. They want you to find XY right here. Well, if these two line segments are equal, then I know that this is also 39.9. And then if they want you to find the whole, right there, find XY, then just add those two. So that would be, what is that, 80, 78, 79, 79.8. So that would be your actual, and we are looking at in centimeters. Okay, so 79.8 centimeters. Okay, use algebra with segment lengths. Find VM, so I'm trying to find that. These little marks right here tell me that those two segments are equal, so I can set them equal to each other. 4x minus 1 is equal to 3x plus 3. All right, let's get rid of the x's. That'll leave me x on the left. Pull the constant over there. That gives me 4, so I know that x is 4. So now you got to plug that back into your x value. So I have 4 times 4 minus 1 gives me 15. So I know that length is 15. And if you were to actually plug it in over here, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is also 15. Okay. All right, so now midpoint formula. To find the midpoint of any two numbers, let's say it's 7 and 9. You add the two numbers, divide by 2. 7 plus 9 is 16. Divide by 2 is 8. And I know that 8 is in between 7 and 9. So if you're given coordinates, in this example right here, finding the midpoint, it works the exact same way. To find the x value of that, you add the two x values of your ordered pair of your line segment, add them together, divide by 2. That's my x value. Y value works the same way. All right. So you add your y values together, divide by 2, and that would give you your y value for your m, your midpoint. All right. So there's my y value. So it's x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So that would be my ordered pair for that, okay? And there's another, actually, the formula. And then if you needed to, if you want to divide this, find the midpoint again, then you would take this x-coordinate added to that x-coordinate to give me the new y, to give me the new x-coordinate here. Again, you would do the that y-coordinate plus that y-coordinate to give me the y-coordinate of that midpoint there, okay? So anyway, there's your basic formula to find the midpoint between 2 points on a line segment. And that's given your ordered pairs. All right, so now let's look at the distance formula. Distance formula uses Pythagorean theorem, if you remember. Pythagorean theorem is equal to c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. And then you take the square root of both sides, and you would have c is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. So it's using that same theorem where you're creating a right triangle and you're wanting to find this distance right here. I can use the Pythagorean theorem, but I'm actually using ordered pairs in order to do that. So if you remember, we call that A, we call that B. Well, B is represented by that distance right there. B is represented by the difference in x values. A distance is represented by the difference in the y values. All right. So if I look at Pythagorean theorem right here, but spelled out using ordered pairs, AB we'd call the C, right? And then the x2 minus x1, and then square that. That is my a squared, all right? That's my a squared. And then if I look at y squared minus y1, I'm sorry, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared, that would actually be my b squared, okay? So the formula itself is AB, your distance that you're looking for, is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared, okay? So that concludes our use of midpoint and distance formula. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you tomorrow.